Section 16, Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, Fair Housing Practice, in the market. Introduction, accessibility is not optional. As we move into this section, we expand beyond fair housing and into another powerful civil rights law, the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. While the Fair Housing Act focuses on equal access to housing, the ADA focuses on equal access to public spaces and accommodations. In 2026, accessibility is not just a design feature, it is a legal requirement. Whether you are working with commercial properties, public-facing offices, or common areas in residential communities, understanding ADA compliance is critical. Imagine walking a client into a property that lacks proper access for someone in a wheelchair. That moment is not just inconvenient, it could be a violation of federal law. What is the ADA and why it matters? The ADA is a federal civil rights law designed to ensure that individuals with disabilities have equal access to public facilities and accommodations. It applies to a wide range of properties, including leasing offices, apartment common areas, retail spaces, restaurants, and other public-facing environments. The goal of the ADA is simple: remove barriers that prevent individuals with disabilities from fully participating in everyday life. The law protects millions of Americans who have physical or mental impairments that impact daily activities such as walking, seeing, hearing, working, or caring for themselves. Understanding disabilities. Under the ADA. The ADA recognizes both physical and mental impairments. Physical impairments may include conditions such as paralysis, blindness, or hearing loss. Mental impairments may include developmental disabilities, learning disabilities, or psychological conditions that limit major life activities. As a real estate professional, it is important to understand that disabilities are not always visible. This means your approach must always be based on inclusion and accessibility, not assumptions. ADA requirements in real estate and housing. For properties that are open to the public or include shared spaces, ADA compliance requires specific accessibility features. For example, apartment complexes must provide accessible routes through common areas such as leasing offices, recreational spaces, and walkways. This may include ramps, properly placed environmental controls like light switches and outlets, and clear pathways for movement. Public-facing properties such as retail stores or restaurants must also provide accessible features, including entrances, waiting areas, drinking fountains, service counters, and restroom accommodations. These requirements ensure that individuals with disabilities can access and use these spaces just like anyone else. The importance of ADA design. Standards. ADA compliance is not based on general ideas. It is based on very specific design standards. These standards often include precise measurements, such as the width of doorways, the slope of ramps, and the height of counters. For example, objects that extend into walking paths without proper clearance can create serious hazards for individuals with visual impairments. A lack of proper head clearance, typically less than 80 inches, can result in safety risks and legal liability. This level of detail highlights an important point. Small design issues can lead to major legal consequences. Assistive animals and fair housing compliance. The ADA works alongside the Fair Housing Act when it comes to assistance animals. Under these laws, individuals with disabilities are allowed to use animals that provide support, perform tasks, or assist with daily living. These animals are not considered pets, which means they are not subject to standard pet policies, fees, or restrictions. A real-world example involved a housing provider that created overly burdensome requirements for individuals requesting accommodations for assistance animals. The policy included excessive paperwork, breed restrictions, and ongoing renewal requirements. The result? A federal lawsuit and significant penalties, including financial compensation and required policy changes. This case reinforces the importance of keeping policies reasonable, accessible, and compliant. Why ADA compliance matters to you. As a real estate professional, ADA compliance impacts how you show properties, advise clients, evaluate commercial and residential spaces, identify potential risks. Failure to comply with ADA standards can lead to lawsuits, fines, and reputational damage. More importantly, it can prevent individuals from accessing housing and services they are legally entitled to use. Connecting ADA to fair housing. While the ADA and Fair Housing Act serve different purposes, they work together to create a more inclusive housing market. The Fair Housing Act ensures equal access to housing opportunities, while the ADA ensures that those housing environments and related public spaces are accessible. Together, they create a framework where individuals are not only allowed to live somewhere, but are also able to fully use and enjoy that space. Online discussion. Question. 1. What is the main purpose of the ADA? Answer. To ensure that individuals with disabilities have equal access to public facilities and accommodations. Question 2. What is an example of an ADA accessibility requirement? Answer. Providing ramps, accessible routes, and proper placement of environmental controls such as light switches. Question 3. Why are assistance animals not considered pets? Answer. Because they provide support or perform tasks for individuals with disabilities and are protected under fair housing laws.